First, there's a lack of awareness. First step is to assess the shot. When should you switch to defense? When the opponent's loop has heavy spin and a low arc. My suggestion is to go for defense. Because the lower the shot, the harder it is to find the high point and initiate a counter loop. So when the loop is low, many players push a long shot and the opponent slow loops, but with a low trajectory. That's when you should go for defense, using a forehand defense. So what's the principle of defense? The lower the shot, the lower your center of gravity should be. Don't just use your hand. Remember this. You need to lower both your hand and your body, and use your body to guide your hand in defense. Try to keep the ball on the racket. This is the first step in defense. Assess what kind of shot it is. If it's a low and spinny ball, go for defense. As the ball bounces up, your racket and the ball should merge force for stability. This makes it more stable. Move outward to increase control over the ball. Use your body to merge with the ball. Avoid hitting the ball directly. Don't keep your center of gravity too high. Remember this, lower your center of gravity. Lean your body forward. Keep your fingers and wrists still. You can move your forearm slightly forward and make contact with the outside or middle of the ball. Move in an outward curve. It must be an outward dark, not a straightforward motion. Don't make this movement. Keep it in an outward dark to control the ball. Use your body to guide your hand in contact with the ball. This is how to handle a very low slow loop. If you get this right, you'll have the confidence to push long on serves. Defend the first rally with your forehand or backhand, and you'll have a tactical foundation. What other shots can you defend against? The opponent's rip shots. How do you defend those? Many people hesitate to backswing, but you must backswing to absorb the power of the shot. Then send it back out. If the opponent smashes or rips, don't go directly against it. You must slightly reduce the speed, as if drawing the ball in. Many people defend this way, but the accuracy rate isn't guaranteed. You must try to control the ball. Always use an outer curve to reduce the incoming ball's spin and speed. Be bold with your backswing. Don't rush. Move slowly. Don't rush the movement. Hold the ball in your hand. You must receive it in, then send it out. Many people just hit the ball forcefully, especially when it bounces on the table. They rush to hit it at the bounce point, which is incorrect. Wait until it's near the peak. Even the beginning of the descent is fine. Use your body as an axis and cushion the ball while sending it out. Do not move your wrist. Use just a bit of the forearm for an outer curve. Then let your body guide the ball out. Now let me explain. When too fast return. My suggestion is to defend for difficult shots. For neutral shots where the opponent's spin isn't too strong and speed isn't too fast, in normal attacks you can fast return. Don't forcefully clash. Always leave space between your body and the ball. Fast returns rely even more on the body. First point. Many people add too much friction. Sometimes their forearm becomes tense. Overall, it's too stiff. You should absorb the ball and then send it out. Never clash forcefully. Previously, we discussed using forearm and wrist to create an arc in forehand loops. Here, simply add spin though moving forward. I think adding more spin helps. Use your body, wrist, and forearm to add spin, especially when the opponent's shot is half hit, half loop. For a neutral shot that's looped over, use your body to lean into it. Forearm and wrist, just create an arc. Add some spin. Keep the ball on the paddle, adding friction this time, not just hitting it out like before. Left foot forward, right foot back. Create a small triangle with your body, leaving some space. This area should have a triangle space. Do not stand flat. If you stand flat, there's no hitting point. Your hand would be behind your body when hitting, which is wrong. Always open up space. Create this triangle between body and hand. Accelerate forcefully, adding spin in this triangle area. It should feel like this. This is the feeling you're aiming for. Increase the friction a bit. Don't just hit the ball. Add more friction. These two types of shots can't be returned fast. First, if I use a pure slow loop, it doesn't work. Or with a purely hitting shot, it doesn't work either. These types of shots just won't work. They can work, but it's very difficult. This shot is a bit tough, but it can work. But the best shot to return fast is a neutral shots. This type of shot is easier for neutral shots. Neutral shots with a bit more power are easier for a fast return. Timing is key for these shots. Normally, you must add friction. If you don't add friction, the shot can easily go into the net. See, it's like this. And then counter loop. This is important for everyone to know. When should you counter loop? When your push shot has high quality, and the opponent's slow loop is of low quality. At this time, you can choose to counter loop. For a counter loop, you must find your position first. Stand about half a step to a step away from the table. When should you loop the ball? During the late stage of the rise? Not too late. Don't wait until the early stage of the descent. If you have the right feeling, then the early descent is okay too. But my recommendation is, when you're just practicing, focus on the late rise stage, almost at the peak. This is the best timing for a counter loop. This gives the best effect. This is a more neutral shot. Remember this. You must defend. Look, I'm showing you a counter example, but I'll tell you, if you're not in form and your stability isn't enough, focus on defense first. Don't go for counter loop fast returns. You see, if I defend first, I get an opportunity afterward. I defend first. My focus is on defense. Defense comes first. Minimizing mistakes is the priority. This is the time to counter-driv. Then I'll slow loop again. He'll have time for it. He can react just in time. It's a quick downspin. Look like these. My quick rip. He is all the correct response. Do you know why it's hard to judge? There's a point. Because it's a fixed point. He can hit however he wants. He can control it however he wants. If it's all over the table, I can control him. Push one shot. Should I lower my center of gravity a little bit? Should I lower my hand a little bit? To slow loop? Look at this slow loop. Shouldn't I squat a little lower? Shouldn't my hand be lower? Right? This is how to slow loop. I can't make this motion to slow loop. Right? So how do I rip? Look. Hand high, center of gravity forward. Stand higher. After pushing, you should be able to judge if your opponent is ripping or slow looping. Let me show you the backswing. First, slow loop. Second, rip. What is this? Let's take a look again. Watch my slow loop. Where do I place my hands? I've swung my hand to this position to slow loop. Only then can I make the shot spin. If I squat down, I can trip. I have to raise my hand. This is how I rip, so it's obvious. This is a slow loop. This is a rip. So after you push, you choose defense, counter-driv, or fast return. You have time to decide.